The dinner rush always made that fast food place feel like a storm in a shoebox. Kids screaming for toys, oil popping in the fryers, delivery bags piling up on the counter. That night, while the screens flashed order after order, a short, heavy black woman limped through the door in a faded delivery jacket, one leg inside a thick orthopedic boot. The vitiligo spread across half her face like spilled milk on dark coffee. Nobody stopped to really look. The cashier glanced once and then away. The fry cook elbowed a coworker and mimicked her limp. A shift lead rolled her eyes when the woman gently asked where to pick up third-party orders. She just adjusted the strap of her helmet and waited, quiet, as if she had all the time in the world. Her name tag said only M. Santos. No one in that building knew that same last name was printed on documents far more powerful than a delivery badge. Or that before midnight, this woman would ask them to turn off the fryers, gather in the dining area, and answer one single question that would drain the color from the manager's face. The first thing Michele heard was not a good evening, but "Door, door, door! Don't block the line, please," the cashier shouted, eyes glued to the screen. Michele stepped to the side, her orthopedic boot thumping against the tile. She knew that sound by heart. She also knew the way people flinched when they heard it. The vitiligo on her face caught the neon glare from the menu boards, making it even harder for anyone ali to fingir que non tinha visto. "Delivery pickup?" she asked, lifting her phone with the order ID. The cashier sighed. "Third party? Over there by the trash can? Just wait. We'll shout your name if we feel like it," she muttered, not loud enough for customers to hear, but loud enough for the crew to laugh. Behind the counter, one crew member did an exaggerated limp behind her back, making another choke on a laugh. The manager, standing near the drive-through screen, saw the scene and chose the easiest response: pretend he hadn't. Michele leaned on the counter to take weight off her bad leg. A bag landed in front of her with a slap. "Order for me chili or whatever," the cashier said, not even trying. "It's Michele," she corrected softly. "Cool," the girl said, already calling the next customer. On her way out, Michele's shoulder brushed the drink station. A soda cup wobbled and spilled a little. The shift lead snapped instantly. "Careful! This is why we don't want delivery people hanging around the front. You mess the flow." Michele looked at the mess, then at the faces that wouldn't meet her eyes. She could have apologized, like she'd done 1,000 times in other uniforms. Instead, she said only, "Busy night," and walked out limping into the rain, leaving a trail of dirty looks behind her, and a mental list much longer than any receipt. At 10:30, the rush finally began to die. The dining room emptied, leaving just crumbs on tables and a tired hum of the fryer. The crew was still laughing about the clumsy delivery girl with the weird face when the manager clapped his hands. "All right, listen up. Corporate called. The owner of this location and a regional rep are coming by for a quick visit." Groans and eye rolls. Somebody whispered, "Yeah, at this hour," the manager replied. "So fix the lobby, clean those trays, and act like we love people, okay?" They scrubbed like their jobs depended on it. 20 minutes later, the door opened again. The crew straightened their backs, expecting someone in a blazer and heels, maybe a woman with perfect makeup and a polished smile. Instead, the same short, heavy black woman walked in, still limping, still wearing the faded delivery jacket. Helmet in one hand, folder in the other. The cashier whispered, "Oh my God, not her again." The manager forced a tired corporate smile. "Sorry, we're closing dining room soon. Delivery pickups are around the side, ma'am." The woman didn't move toward the side door. She walked, one uneven step at a time, straight to the middle of the dining room. Then she turned and faced the counter. "Could you please turn off the fryers for 10 minutes?" she asked. The manager blinked. "Ma'am, we really can't." The front door opened once more. A man in a company polo with the chain's logo stepped in, carrying a tablet and a stack of papers. "Evening, everyone," he said. "You can do what she asked. This is Michele Santos." He paused. "She's the franchise owner of this store." You could hear the air leave the room. The cashier's mouth literally dropped open. The fry cook almost dropped a basket of nuggets. The manager's smile died halfway across his face. Michele slipped off the delivery jacket. Underneath, a branded polo identical to his. Only hers had a small line of text they'd never noticed before. Franchisee. They gathered the whole crew in the dining area. Cashiers, cooks, the shift lead, even the security guard. The only sounds were the freezer humming and somebody's nervous foot tapping under a table. Michele stood at the front, not on a stage, just between two plastic chairs. The man from corporate sat off to the side, silent, watching. "So," she began, resting both hands on the back of a chair, her orthopedic boot planted firmly. "Tonight, I tried to pick up an order here. Just like any delivery partner, just like any customer who doesn't fit the picture on your ads." No one spoke. I was told to wait by the trash can. Her eyes moved to the cashier, who stared hard at the floor. Someone threw the card machine at me like it was too heavy to place in my hand. Someone mocked the way I walk. She let the words settle. Her vitiligo caught the ceiling lights. No one dared look directly. "You didn't know who I was. That's the point," she continued. "The people who walk in with perfect hair, designer shoes, and time to pose for photos, those are easy to treat well. I don't need a team that only knows how to smile at people who look like Instagram posts." The manager cleared his throat. "Michele, if we'd known—" She raised a hand, the gesture small but final. "If you'd known, you would have performed. I wanted to see how you behave when you think nobody important is watching." She opened the folder and laid a copy of the lease on the table. Her name sat there in bold letters. "I started in this company wiping trays and mopping floors at midnight. I know what it feels like to be invisible in a uniform. I bought this store because I refuse to run a place where people like me are treated as clutter in the lobby." Her gaze swept the crew again. "So here's what's going to happen. We're going to retrain. Hard. On respect, on disability, on race, on basic human dignity. Some of you will grow from this. Some of you may not want to. That's your choice." She looked directly at the shift lead. "And some positions are going to change. Starting tomorrow, I want the person who didn't laugh when I spilled that soda, yeah, you in the headset, to shadow the manager. You treated me like a person when everyone else pretended I was in the way." The manager shifted uncomfortably. "This isn't about fear of the owner," Michele finished. "It's about remembering that every single person walking in here brings more than just money. They bring stories, scars, and reasons you don't see. If you can't respect that, you don't work under my name." For the first time that day, the restaurant was truly quiet. Michele went home that night with her leg throbbing and the familiar ache spreading up her back. Pain was nothing new. It lived with her, in her bones and in every stare that tried to shrink her down to her limp and her skin. What felt different was watching a room full of people realize all at once that the clumsy delivery girl they'd rolled their eyes at was the name printed on their paychecks. Years before, she'd worn the same kind of headset they wore, had the same kind of manager bark the same lines. "Don't stand there, you're ruining the image. Move faster. Don't scare the customers." Back then, she swallowed it and kept wiping tables. Today, she owned the tables, the fryers, the logo on the sign outside. The limp, the vitiligo, the extra weight. None of it had stopped her from signing that franchise contract. But all of it had made her swear that if she ever became the boss, she would never forget what it felt like to be treated as visual trash in a pretty store. Maybe you've been that person, pushed to the corner, rushed, talked over, treated like background noise because your body doesn't match the brochure. If Michele's story hits something inside you, type in the comments, "I am not in the way, I belong here." Subscribe to Unstoppable Underrated for more stories of disabled, imperfect, underestimated people who were treated like nothing, until the moment they quietly laid their name on the table and changed the room.